Welcome to week 3 of Robinson Film Center's Family Matinee Homeschool Edition. Just like the previous weeks, it's an adaptation of a classic novel. Can you guess what it is yet? That's right, it's that 1939 Technicolor classic, Gone with the Wind. Oh, no, Wizard of Oz. It's Wizard of Oz. What's not to love? Munchkinland, the Emerald City, wizards, witches, Yellow Brick Road, Judy Garland singing and dancing, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Okay, now that we know this week's film, it's time for the activities. First up, one of my favorite munchkins, Parker, has some discussion questions for after the film. Parker, take it away.
I'm Dorothy and this is Toto. What's your favorite song in the movie? Who's your favorite character in the movie? Why?
Thanks, Parker. And now we craft. This week, we're recreating Dorothy's house as a piñata. That's right, you get to build and tear down a house. Let's see how we did it. The first thing you'll need is a cardboard box to make your house. The shape and size don't matter too much, so just use whatever you've got. This one's about the size of a shoebox. Now grab a pair of scissors and we're going to cut the corners off of 2 of the flaps. Start in the center of the flap and then cut out. Once you're done with the first flap, cut the flap on the opposite side as well. Next, you'll need some tape. I'm using packing tape here, but it does not matter what kind. Here you'll need to take the flaps that you did not cut and tape them to the 2 flaps that you did cut. This will help create some structure for the roof that we're about to put on. Next, we'll be punching holes in 2 sides of your piñata. We'll use this to hang the piñata in just a little bit. I'm using a pair of scissors, but you could use a hole punch or a pin to make the holes as well. Here, I'm using a zip tie that I will secure a string to later to hold up the piñata, but you don't have to use a zip tie. You could use a rubber band or a piece of string. I used a cereal box for my roof, but you can use any piece of cardboard that you like. Just cut it down to the size that you need. I left a few inches of overhang for each side of my roof. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. You are going to knock this down after all. Here I'm folding the cardboard in half to create the pitch of my roof. Now place your cardboard roof on your house and check the fit. If all is well, now it's time to move on to the glue. You can use whatever glue you have at home for this. Elmer's glue, hot glue, even a glue stick. You won't be putting any weight on this roof, so you don't need anything real strong. Now you can place your roof on and let it dry for just a few minutes. Now for the fun part, the fringe. I've got some white tissue paper here, but you can use construction paper, printer paper, whatever you've got at your house. And here I'm just folding it up and creating strips so that I can cut the fringe. These ended up being about 2 inches in height and then as long as the paper. And then you cut notches along the strips and they can be as thick or as thin as you like. Mine were probably a ½ an inch apart. Next, I've diluted a little bit of glue and I'm just placing a tiny bit of it on a line along there and placing one of my fringe strips on there. If you're using tissue paper, you do not need much glue here. You can actually, I think a glue stick would have been better. I just did not have one. But if you are using something thicker like construction paper, then you'll probably want something a little bit sturdier than a glue stick. And you can see here I'm just taking the strips along. I've got a little sticker on my box, but once we get all those layers on there, you won't see them. You actually don't have to cut long strips of fringe for your piñata. You can cut small pieces of paper and glue them on one at a time. It will take a little bit longer, but if you want to go that route, you certainly can. Just keep working your way around the box and you'll eventually get to the short sides, and all you need to do is cut your fringe to fit, and then you'll eventually use one or two pieces at a time once you get to the very top. Make sure that you do not block those zip ties or rubber bands or whatever it is that you used for the loops. Okay, we're done with the sides and we're moving on to the roof. I used old paper bags for my roof, but again, you can use whatever you've got on hand. Again, doing the same method, folding it up into strips, and then we'll be cutting the fringe. Once you've got your strips cut, you're moving on to gluing your fringe on your roof. We're using the exact same method that we used on the sides. Just do a little bit of glue, and then you throw your strips up there, and this will move really fast. And just like that, you've got a piñata. But you can still do some more things. I'm making a chimney here. I've got a paper towel roll, and I have flattened it, and I'm making sure that I'm making some sharp edges there, and then those two edges that I just made, I let them meet each other, and then I flatten it again. This will help make it a square so that it looks like a chimney. And then I cut the paper towel roll in half because I don't need a chimney quite that long. And then we'll put it on the top, and so that it fits on the pitch of the roof, we're going to do kind of similar to what we did with the box flaps. I'm going to cut a triangle in two of the sides so that it fits snugly to the roof. And to cover the chimney, we'll be doing the same thing we did for the sides and the roof. I'm folding up a piece of red tissue paper and I'm cutting notches into it. And by now you should be a pro at this. We're just wrapping the tissue paper around our chimney and we're taking it all the way up to the top. Now that you've got your tiny chimney, grab your glue, stick it on the edges, and then place it on top of the roof and let it dry for a few minutes. At this point, you can add windows and doors, whatever you like to your house. I decided to add a little blue door. I've got a straw that I'm cutting in half. Can anybody guess what I'm making with this straw? I'm making the Wicked Witch of the East stockings. Since Dorothy's house did fall on her, we'll be making her stockings to stick out from underneath the house. Right there, I've added some excess tissue paper to create the stockings, and then I will be adding some green Christmas ribbon to create the stripes in her stockings. I believe they were actually black in the movie, but I didn't have any black ribbon, so again, use whatever you've got at home. And for the ruby slippers on the stockings, I'm just using some balled up pieces of red tissue paper. Did you think I forgot that we had to fill our piñata? I did not. I'm just slicing through the packing tape that's on my box to open up the bottom. As you can see, there is plenty of space to put lots of fun things inside our piñata. But what could we do? Of course, candy, food, toys, Mardi Gras beads, old fireworks. Okay, no, that's a bad idea. Or dog treats in case you don't have any siblings. You want to play with your dog? Okay, maybe that's a bad idea too. Or a bunch of colorful balls, which is what I'm going to be using. Now, once you've got your piñata filled up with all of your goodies, it's time to tape it up. I'm using Scotch tape here because I did not want anything too strong. And the last thing you need to do is tape your witch's legs to the bottom. Again, right here, I'm using packing tape and I'm just sticking it to the bottom of our piñata and we are almost ready to go. And there we are. Wicked Witch of the East legs are attached, and our very last step is to add the string. Thread some string through one of the zip tie loops, stretch the string across the roof and into the other loop. Then you tie a knot and you've got a string to hang your piñata with. And here is Dorothy's house spinning in all of its glory before it gets destroyed by a tiny munchkin. All right, we want to see your piñatas. All you have to do is put a photo of yourself and your piñata on our Facebook or Instagram, or you can post it on your own page, but be sure to tag the Robinson Film Center. If you complete this week's activity, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a Wizard of Oz goodie bag, which includes the first 5 novels from the Wizard of Oz series. Okay guys, enjoy the Wizard of Oz this week, and we'll see you at the Robinson real soon, somewhere over the rainbow. See ya.